When it comes to a small business expense tracking, you do have a very important element: revenue. Of course, you are tracking expenses, but you are also increasing your revenue because if you think about it, basically, expense and revenue go hand in hand, and they all contribute to your net income. So if you are able to actually get in, let's say, get your expense under control, you are getting your revenue, and by that, you are getting your income under control. So here are the top trends I want you to really pay attention to. Tracking expenses might seem like a hassle, but it's one of the smartest habits you can build for your business. And I don't care, by the way, I don't care what industry you're in, expense tracking is going to help you big time. It's going to help you save anywhere from 10% all the way to 50% when it comes to cost, okay? When you avoid surprises at tax time and make better decisions for growth, your small business seems to run easily, big time. So in today's conversation, what I want to explain to you, I want to explain to you what business expenses are, why they matter, and how to track them step by step. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't need any explanation about what business expenses are, but you'll be really surprised to know that not every expense is an expense, and not every investment is actually an expense, okay? So let's first define what business expenses are and why they matter in the first place. So if you close your eyes and think about business expenses, think about the cost of keeping your business running. So that's actually the very short explanation here. The cost of keeping your business open, okay? And things like office supplies, electricity, software, and advertising are really important, and they are business expenses. To be deductible, the IRS says these expenses must be both ordinary, in other words, common in your industry, and necessary, helpful for your business. For example, buying paper for your office printer would count as an ordinary and necessary expense. On the other hand, extravagant or personal purchases like a luxury vacation labeled as a business trip typically will not be acceptable. So be very careful there. You do not want to really invite the ire of the IRS. And so if you're not sure whether something qualifies, ask yourself, does this expense directly benefit my business? And also, is it reasonable compared to similar practices in my industry? In other words, are other companies doing the same thing? So tracking these expenses gives you a clear view of where your money is going. It helps you manage cash flow and avoid surprises, so you are always in control, and you want to be in control all the time. And tax season is another big reason to track your expenses. Organized records let you claim deductions without last minute stress. Let me give you a few examples of business expenses common to small businesses. And again, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you are going to account for those business expenses in the short run, but also in the long run. And so some small businesses often face a variety of expenses, many of which are deductible if they meet IRS rules, remember, ordinary and necessary. So keep organized records to ensure you are claiming everything you are entitled to and managing your finances, your company's finances effectively. Let me give you a few common examples of business expenses so that you are able to know what to track, how to track it, and what strategy you need to put into place to automate the tracking process. So you have home office cost, you have office supplies, marketing and advertising, professional services, travel and transportation, education and training, insurance, and communication. So when you think about home office cost, that's actually something that you have to really account for if you work from home, right? You can deduct part of your rent or mortgage, utilities, and maintenance cost related to your office space. You have office supplies, so this includes items like paper, pens, and other office supplies needed for your work. When it comes to marketing and advertising, expenses like building a website, running ads, printing business cards, or managing social media fall into this category. You also have professional services, so legal advice, accounting help, and hiring consultant or freelancers all count as business expenses. When you think about travel and transportation, if you travel to meet clients or attend events, including mileage, airfare, lodging, and meals, they should all be tracked. Remember to keep receipts for your accountant. Education and training. So things like workshops, certifications, and online courses that improve your skills or keep you up to date in your field are valid expenses. Insurance, and finally, you have communication. I'm talking about phone, internet services. Those that are used for your business can qualify as expenses. So when you think about small business expense tracking, the most important thing is that you want to track them in a very automatic way. You want to have a system in place where you are streamlining the tracking. Now, why should you track business expenses in the first place? For a lot of reasons. But when you think about those many reasons, there are two reasons that are really preeminent. First of all, you want to have a clear idea your financial results are. In other words, your net income or your net loss is, and why, right? So that's why you want to track expenses in the first place to see whether your business is actually performing at all. If not, what are the causes of that underperformance? So that's the first part. The second preeminent reason why you want to track expenses is that you want to really pay attention to taxes, because if you are going to write off some items, you better have you better be accountable. You better have a system where you can track expenses just in case you are audited. You are audited by the IRS. Okay, so the IRS allows businesses to deduct again ordinary and necessary expenses for their from their taxable income. So your business is actually able to deduct that amount from its taxable income. That means what? It means that tracking and reporting your expenses accurately can lower your tax bill come tax time. For example, costs like office supplies or professional services are typically deductible, and to claim these deductions, the IRS requires detailed records that proves the expenses are legit in the first place. So good record keeping also protects you in case of an audit. So if the IRS reviews your return, having organized and complete records ensures that you are ready to defend your claims, right? Because you do not want to really waste money. I mean, not waste, but actually spend extra in hiring a CPA or hiring an EA, an enrolled agent, or even a tax attorney to kind of help you defend your case in tax court. So that's important. So if you don't track your expenses properly, you risk missing out on deductions, paying higher taxes, or even facing penalties. So accurate tracking actually saves you money and keeps your business compliant, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level. And that's what you want. You want to be in a situation where you are compliant no matter what. So when you think about small business expense tracking, let me give you a few tips for you to really actually improve your operations this year. Okay. And so the first thing I want you to really think about is that you want to use a dedicated bank account, business bank account, and credit card. That helps you a lot actually when it comes to streamlining your expense tracking. Because if you have a dedicated business bank account, you know everything that goes into that bank account is everything is for business purposes. Okay, so separate your business and personal finances by opening a business bank account and credit card. This makes it a lot easier to track transactions, simplifies bookkeeping, and adds a layer of professionalism. You want to add that layer, and that's going to help you big time in the eyes of the IRS, but also state tax auditors in case you have to really encounter them. It also protects your personal assets if your business is structured as an LLC or a corporation, because then you have a veil of professionalism. Okay, you have a corporate veil. So you want to set this account up early to keep everything organized. Next, you want to invest in accounting software. So good tools make a big difference. So accounting software can save you time and reduce errors by automating risks and but not risk, but automating tasks and automating risk management. Okay, so when I speak about tasks, I'm talking about things like importing transactions, categorizing expenses, and generating reports. Many tools actually give you real-time insights into your cash flow. So you have QuickBooks, FreshBooks, Zero, Wave, and what have you. And you want to categorize your expenses consistently. Do this consistently. It's going to help you. So common categories include rent, utilities, supplies, travel, advertising, and professional services. So use the same categories throughout the year to keep things consistent. You want to create and track a budget for your business, and you want to use digital tools for invoices and receipts. You want to keep your data up to date. That's important. And finally, you also want to really pay attention to your bank reconciliation. So you want to reconcile bank statements every single month. So compare your records to your bank statements monthly to ensure everything matches. So this helps you catch errors, resolve discrepancies, and maintain accurate books. So regular reconciliation keeps your finances in good shape and prevents bigger issues actually down the line. That's important from a scalability point of view. Let me give you a few best practices that you want to follow when it comes to business expense tracking. So you want to identify and fix common challenges, okay? And that's going to help you actually streamline your expense tracking, not in the long run. First of all, the first challenge is mixing personal and business expenses. This is an important challenge because combining personal and business expenses leads to confusion, messy records, and potential legal trouble. So the solution is I think I've said this to you before, you want to use separate bank accounts and credit cards for your business. So commit to keeping all personal transactions out of your business accounts. And if you accidentally mix them, you want to document the transaction and reimburse the appropriate account. And regularly reviewing your statements helps ensure everything stays in place. And you gotta have that. You gotta have that clarity. Otherwise, you'll be wasting a lot of time. You'll be losing a lot of cash. So the first challenge is actually mixing personal and business expenses. The second challenge here is actually losing or misplacing receipts. I've told you already that it's really important to really categorize things properly. So what if you accidentally lose or misplace receipts? What happens in that case? Well, the problem is that misplaced or undocumented receipts make it hard to claim deductions and can create headaches during audits. And it's important for you to have a clear idea how to structure things. So the solution here is to set up a system for capturing receipts immediately. Use digital tools to scan and store them as you receive them. That way you have a clear idea what works and what doesn't work for you. You want to organize receipts by category and date, so that they are easy to find when needed. The key here is what? You want to stay consistent. Don't let receipts pile up. You want to start early. You want to track things down. You want to track things as soon as possible, and you want to automate the whole process, okay? You don't need software, but you need to have some kind of system that allows you to streamline the whole process. Next, when it comes to procrastinating on bookkeeping, that's an important challenge. Let me explain a little further. What I mean here is that the thing is, putting off bookkeeping creates a backlog, increases the chance of errors, and adds stress at tax time. Now, you might be thinking, well, my business is small. I'm going to do things myself. You will realize that it's just maybe a lot better to outsource your bookkeeping to a company, or even hire a full-time or part-time bookkeeper to kind of help you out, or even invest in accounting software instead of doing things manually, instead of using Excel spreadsheets, using paper. Now, your job as a business owner is to run your business, is to expand the business, not to really get into the nitty-gritty of double entry accounting. Okay, so the solution here is that you want to schedule a regular time to update your records. whether it's daily, weekly, or bi weekly. Make bookkeeping a habit if you're interested in that. Now, if you are short on time, consider hiring a professional bookkeeper or keep things or having a system to keep things on track. And staying proactive prevents small tasks from turning into big problems. So you have the possibility to streamline your small business expense tracking with the proper software, okay? And the proper software lets you manage your business and personal expenses in one convenient place while keeping them separate automatically, okay? And so you can do things in a web-based manner or even with an app. So you want to have an app that allows you to, let's see, cover all your financial management needs. For instance, to download transactions and categorize them automatically. See a clear picture of your income, expenses, and cash flow. You are able to get built-in report for deductions and tax preparation. And you can also set financial goals and actually monitor your progress big time. So that's important. So the thing is, when you think about small business expense tracking, this is an important element to remember. This is an ongoing process. You can't just say, you know what, I'm going to set it up and I'm just going to track my expenses going forward. But you have to really periodically monitor everything to make sure that it is really like the system is working. Okay. So when it comes to expense tracking, some businesses have something called expense reports. So an expense report is actually a detailed summary of business spending over a certain time frame. It can be a 1 week, it can be 1 month, it can be 1 year, it can be a 1 quarter, it can be 6 months. Okay, and so the expense report typically includes the date of each expense, its purpose or description, the amount spent, the category it falls under, and supporting documents like receipts. So these reports are vital for tracking spending, reimbursing employees, and ensuring that you have proper documentation for tax purposes. And now regular expense tracking can benefit your business beyond tax preparation. I think I've said this before. This is not just something you do for tax purposes, okay? So consistent business expense tracking can help you, for instance, manage cash flow by giving you a clear picture of your spending, giving you a clear idea. Okay, you're able to highlight cost-saving opportunities, and you can improve profitability by controlling unnecessary expenses. Additionally, accurate financial data supports strategic planning, helping you make informed decisions for growth and also investment. So that's important. So you want to understand that it's important also to keep receipts for your business expenses, because if you're ever audited, and again, don't say, well, I'll never be audited. You'd never know. If you're ever audited, you will need to be able to prove the expenses that you claim. And IRS guidelines change from time to time, so it's actually best to make sure that you go to the IRS website to see what kind of record keeping rules the IRS has these days. As an epilogue into this conversation, I give you a guide to small business expense tracking. I give you the top trends, the top tips, the best practices, and finally the epilogue. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.